you are making changes to your project and you are making impacts to it, putting delays in is great, but also knowing what it's like at a certain point. So, and again, that might be week 1, week 2, week 3, and so forth. So I'm just saving that there. So I'm just going to go into the project tab and go to Baseline Manager. And inside here, I'm going to click on Baseline Manager, What If Manager for my project. And this allows me to create a snapshot, a baseline of my project. Now, unlike other systems, Powerproject will actually create, remember everything about this project. So it's not going to just remember the start and finish date. It's going to remember start and finish date, links. It's going to remember everything, every setting about every activity is going to be remembered. What calendar it was using, you know, what codes were assigned and so forth in there. It's a complete copy. And also there is no limitation to how many of these baselines you have. Now, the advantage with that is if there's no limitations with the baselines you can have, you can actually have your original contract, but then you can actually, as change orders come in, you can put those in, but you can also have weekly baselines. And at any time you can display those back in there. And that will allow you to see, you know, how you're doing now compared to week 4 or month 3, whatever you wanted to. So I'm just going to create a baseline. And again, I'm going to call this the contract baseline. And I'm just going to click on finish. It's as simple as that to create a baseline, and I can actually choose it, and I've got a color there I can choose. So if I wanted to, I could make that, let's just say orange in there. The orange line underneath is my baseline. Now, if I don't want to see that, I can just turn that off. It's still there, but all the dates, everything about it is there. In the columns, whenever I add a column in, and let's just add, I'm just going to add a start date, for example, in here. Every column I add, I can choose where it comes from. So I can actually say that that start date is going to come from the baseline. I could add variances in to show me the difference between the start date and the baseline. So I'm just going to turn that baseline back on. And now if I made a change and an impact to my project, you can instantly visually see that. But I can also add a column in from dates and say that I want to see the finish variance of that, and that's coming from the current baseline, which is the contract one, and I can see where the problems are. Now, if I was over here and I started making mitigating circumstances, you know, on my project, I can see that although we were 18 days, we're now down to 11 days. So we're just trying to claw back those items. Now, those clawing back those items could be you using different calendars. So you might plan your schedule to work on a 5-day, but you could accelerate it using a 6 or 7-day, whichever permitting on site. So you can use those as you go through. And again, you don't, even though I'm looking at the variance, I can choose not to see that side of it. So I can see the variance still, but I don't have to see the baseline. And I can create as many baselines as I want in this project. And again, whatever area I look at, I'm still seeing that information. So it's just a very quick way of baseline. And because it's unlimited, you're not held back to just 10 baselines of just key information. Every bit of information about this, everything you see inside all these properties is remembered in the baseline. Whether it's got costs, resources on it, whatever, it's all there. So you can go back and see those. And if I go back into that one there and just show you the variances here, this is all the information it's saying. And if I choose that as contract baseline, it shows me differences between the bar. If I look at the task, the two differences. Now I can have these as columns, or I can just interrogate it if I wanted to. And it's really important to understand, because you can then look back and understand where the problems occurred, what happened. And this all becomes very important if it gets to a point where legal matters or contractual matters are starting to be discussed. You have the evidence to back up what happened on that schedule, so you can push it through as you go on there.